welcome to Springfield Career Insights. Tonight, we speak into a reality that many young people carry quietly. The weight of family expectations, cultural obligations, and the pressure to provide before they are even stable themselves. In many of our homes, a young person is not just a son or daughter. They are an investment, a retirement plan, a rescuer, and sometimes the only hope of the entire family. They are expected to succeed quickly, to send money home, to support siblings, to respect traditions, to obey elders, even when those instructions conflict with their own future. This pressure is real. It can be honorable, but it can also be heavy, confusing, and sometimes unfair. So we ask, how does a young person honor their family and culture without losing themselves, their mental health, or their future? And how do families support their children's progress without turning love into pressure and obligation into bondage? To guide us through this sensitive and deeply important conversation, we are joined by His Excellency Dr. Godfrey Gandawa, President of Springfield Research University, Architect of Education 6.0, and a continental voice on family systems, cultural expectations, and youth development. President, welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. At Springfield, we teach that family and culture are pillars of identity, but they must never become prisons. A young person thrives when they are allowed to grow, to plan, to stabilize before they are overloaded with expectations. When families balance love with wisdom and young people balance respect with boundaries, we create a future where culture does not crush potential, but it protects it.
Thank you, Professor. President, many young people feel like they are carrying their entire family on their shoulders. Why is family pressure so intense in our society?
Thank you, Doctor. So, family pressure is intense because poverty creates dependence. When opportunities are scarcely, the one who shows promise becomes the family's hope. Not by choice, but by circumstances. The dream of one becomes the survival plan of many. Family pressure is intense because our culture values collective progress over individual comfort. And in many households, success is not personal, it is communal. If you rise, you lift others. If you fail, the whole family feels the impact. This creates a silent contract. You must succeed because we cannot afford for you not to. Family pressure is intense because parents carry their own unfulfilled dreams. You see, they see in their children the opportunities they never had, the education they missed, the chances life denied them. So their expectations are not just hopes, they are corrections of their own past. Family pressure is intense because economic struggle turns children into providers too early. A young person becomes the emergency fund, the problem solver, the negotiator, the rescuer. And that responsibility can suffocate their own dreams. Family pressure is intense because love in our society is often expressed through sacrifice. So parents sacrifice for their children sacrifice for parents, and sometimes the line between love and obligation becomes blurred. But here is the truth, Doctor, young people must hold gently. You can support your family without losing yourself. You can honor your roots without bearing your future. You can carry responsibility without carrying guilty. So the key is balance. Communicate your limits, share your plans, explain your journey, show progress, set boundaries with respect. And remember, you are not abandoning your family by pursuing your dream. You are strengthening them. Because when you rise with clarity, discipline, and purpose, you don't just lift your family, you lift the generation after them.
Thank you, Professor. When a young person feels torn between their dreams and their family's expectations, where should they begin?
Thank you, Doctor. So, the beginning is not action. The beginning is understanding. So, a young person must first understand themselves and their family before they can navigate the space between them. So, they must begin by asking themselves the most important question. Is this dream truly mine? Not borrowed from society, not inherited from peers, not copied from social media, not a rebellion against family, a dream that comes from within, from talent, passion, conviction, and calling. When the dream is authentic, the courage to defend it becomes natural. The second place to begin is understanding the family's fear. Family expectations are rarely about control. They are about protection. So, parents fear instability. They fear disappointment. They fear watching their child struggle in a world they know is harsh. When a young person sees the fear behind the pressure, the conflict becomes easier, Doctor, to navigate. The third beginning is communication. So, not emotional communication, not defensive communication. Clear, mature, structured communication. Explain the dream, explain the plan, explain the steps, explain the risks, explain the safety nets. When you speak like someone who has thought deeply, you shift from conversation. The conversation will shift from fantasy, you see, to strategy. The fourth beginning is proof, Doctor. Families don't trust words, they trust movement. Show progress, show discipline, show consistency, show results, even small ones. When your actions speak, resistance softens. And then there is the deepest beginning. Begin by choosing yourself without abandoning your family. You can honor your roots without sacrificing your wings. You can respect your parents without erasing your identity. You can carry responsibility without carrying guilty. So a young person, Doctor, must understand this truth. You don't choose between your dream and your family. You choose how to walk with both. With clarity, with respect, with patience, with courage. The beginning is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is internal. It is the moment you decide that your dream is worthy of pursuit, even if the world closest to you doesn't see it yet. And once that decision is made, the path, Doctor, becomes clearer, the pressure becomes lighter, and the young person begins to rise.
Thank you, Professor. Often speak about identity before obligation. What does that mean for young people navigating cultural pressure?
Thank you, Doctor. So when I say identity before obligation, I am speaking to the young person who is being pulled in every direction by culture, family, tradition, and expectation. I'm reminding them that before they carry the weight of the world, they must first know the shape of their own soul. Identity is the anchor. Obligation is the ocean. If you enter the ocean without any anchor, the waves will decide your direction, doctor. So a young person must know their value before they respond to pressure. They must know their purpose before they inherit expectations. They must know their direction before they accept responsibilities that could derail their future. Cultural pressure is powerful, but identity is the only thing strong enough to stand in front of it without collapsing. When you know who you are, you can honor your family without losing yourself. You can respect your culture without suffocating under it. You can carry responsibility without carrying guilt. Identity is not rebellion, doctor. Identity is clarity. Identity is the foundation that allows obligation to be carried with dignity, not resentment, doctor.
Thank you, Professor. President, how can young people honor their families without losing themselves?
Thank you, doctor. So young people honor their families by carrying love, not carrying guilt. Guilt makes you shrink. Love makes you rise. Guilt makes you obey. Love makes you choose with clarity. So when your decisions come from love, not fear, you protect both your identity and your family bond. They honor their families by communicating with maturity, not disappearing, not rebelling, not fighting, just speaking with calm clarity. This is what I am building. This is why it matters. This is how I will stay responsible. Families may resist your dream, but they respect your growth. Young people honor their families by setting boundaries with dignity. A boundary is not disrespect. A boundary is direction. It says, I love you, but I cannot lose myself while trying to please you. It says, I will support where I can, but I cannot sacrifice my future to fix every crisis. Boundaries protect relationships, they don't break them. They honor their families by becoming stable, doctor, not just obedient. Obedience makes parents comfortable today. Stability makes families secure tomorrow. When you build a life rooted in purpose, discipline, and identity, you become the kind of an adult your family can depend on, not just emotionally, but structurally. And here is the deepest truth, doctor. You honor your family by succeeding in your own direction, not by surrendering to theirs. Your dream is not a betrayal. Your individuality is not disrespect. Your purpose is not rebellion. So a young person can carry their family with love, but must carry themselves with truth. Because if you lose yourself trying to honor others, you end up giving them a version of you that is tired, resentful, and incomplete. But when you honor yourself first, your identity, your calling, your path, you eventually return to your family stronger, clearer, and more capable of lifting them. That is how you honor your family without losing yourself, doctor. With love, with clarity, with the boundaries, with identity.
Thank you, Professor. Some families expect financial support even when the young person is struggling. How can they balance survival with responsibility?
Thank you, Doctor. So when a young person is struggling and the family still expects financial support, the conflict becomes a quiet storm. A quiet storm inside them. They love their family. They want to help. But they are also trying to survive, to build, to breathe. And that tension can break a young person's spirit if it's not handled with wisdom. The first truth must hold is this: you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot rescue your family if you are sinking. You cannot build a future if every step forward is pulled backwards by pressure. So survival is not selfish, Doctor. It is strategic. Young people must learn to support within their capacity, not beyond it. Not with guilt, not with fear, with clarity, with honesty, with the boundaries that are firm but respectful. They must communicate openly, Doctor. I want to help and I will help. But I also need the space to stabilize myself so I can support you better in the long run. So families may not like that sentence at first, but they will respect it when they see consistency and progress. And here is the heart of the matter, Doctor. You honor your family by becoming strong, not by becoming broken. You honor them by rising, not by collapsing. You honor them by building a future that can sustain everyone, including yourself. A young person can carry responsibility without carrying the whole world. They can support their family without sacrificing their destiny. They can love deeply without losing themselves. That is the balance. That is the wisdom, Doctor.
Thank you, Professor. Let's take a break and listen to our gospel song, Chains Break When Jesus Speaks.
Standing in the tension with a heart that's worn and weak. I've been fighting silent battles that I never dared to speak. But in the middle of my struggle, when the weight was crushing me, I heard your voice like rolling thunder, and every chain began to leave. Chains break when Jesus speaks. All
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. President, how can young people set healthy boundaries without being labeled disrespectful?
Thank you, Doctor. So a young person sets healthy boundaries by changing the tone, not the truth. You don't shout, you don't fight, you don't disappear. You speak with calm, steady confidence. I love you and I want to support you. But here is what I can manage right now. Respect is not in the answer, Doctor. It is in the delivery. They must also understand that clarity prevents conflict. Families react badly when they feel confused, ignored, or blindsided. But when you explain your limits early, gently, and consistently, the resistance softens. People don't need to agree with your boundary. They just need to understand it. Young people must also learn the art of loving firmness, not harshness, not coldness, firmness, being firm. A boundary that wobbles becomes a negotiation. A boundary that stands calmly becomes a standard. And here is the truth many young people don't realize. You can say no without being disrespectful. You can protect your peace without breaking your family bond. You can choose your future without rejecting your roots. The key is to anchor every boundary in love, not in anger, in clarity, not fear, in maturity, not emotion. So when a young person speaks with respect, explains with honesty, and stands with consistency, even the toughest family eventually adjusts, because families don't respond to boundaries. They respond to the spirit behind them. Set your limits with dignity, Doctor. Carry your identity with confidence. Honor your family without abandoning yourself. That is how boundaries become bridges, not battles.
Thank you, Professor. President, what role does communication play in reducing misunderstandings between parents and young adults?
Thank you, Doctor. So communication reduces misunderstandings because it turns fear into understanding. Parents often react from fear of instability, fear of disappointment, fear of losing their child to a world they don't fully understand. When a young person explains their choices calmly, that fear softens. Fear hates silence, but it respects clarity. Communication also turns pressure into partnership. When parents don't know what a young person is doing, they fill the gaps with their own expectations or maybe imagination. But when a young person says, "This is what I am building, this is why it matters, this is how I am planning to stay responsible," the conversation shifts from conflict to collaboration. Communication turns assumptions into truth. So parents assume young people are reckless. Unfortunately. Young people assume parents are controlling. But when they talk, real talk, both sides realize they are fighting for the same thing, a better future. Is it? And communication turns distance into connection. So young adults often withdraw when they feel misunderstood, which is wrong, is it? Parents push harder when they feel shut out. But one honest conversation can reset the entire relationship. Not a dramatic speech, just a calm moment of truth. Here is the heart of the matter, doctor. Parents don't need perfection. They need information. They need reassurance. They need to feel included, not replaced. So when a young person communicates with maturity, tone, and clarity, misunderstanding shrinks. Respect grows, trust grows, the relationship grows. Because communication is not about winning, doctor. It is about understanding. And understanding is the foundation of every strong family.
Thank you, Professor. President, what are the most common forms of family pressure that young people face today?
Thank you, doctor. So the first form of pressure is financial expectation. The moment a young person shows potential, the family sees a provider. Not because they're selfish, but because survival has trained them to depend on the strongest shoulder in the house. So the young person becomes the emergent fund, the problem solver, the rescuer, and that weight can feel endless. And another form of pressure, doctor, is career direction. Families often want the safe path, the job with a title, the degree with prestige, the route they understand. So when a young person chooses a creative path, a business, or a dream that doesn't fit the traditional script, the family pushes back. Not out of malice, out of fear. There is also reputational pressure. Don't embarrass the family. People are watching. Remember where you come from. Young people carry the burden of representing the entire household, even in choices that should belong to them alone. You see? They don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass us. Then comes cultural obligation. The expectation to follow tradition, to behave a certain way, to marry a certain way, to live a certain way. Culture becomes what? A script. You see? And the young person becomes the actor, even in the role, even if the role doesn't fit their soul. We say this is culture. Is it? Another heavy pressure is emotional responsibility. Some families lean on the young person for stability, comfort, mediation, or maturity beyond their age. They become the counselor, the peacekeeper, the strong one. And strength becomes a mask they cannot remove. And finally, doctor, there is the pressure to succeed quickly. You see, families want results now. They want proof now. They want stability now. But dreams grow slowly, and the young person feels torn between their timeline and their family's impatience. But here is the truth, doctor, that must be spoken with clarity. So, family pressure is intense because our society has turned young people into bridges between poverty and progress, between old expectations and new possibilities. And yet, a young person can carry their family without losing themselves, with boundaries, with communication, with identity, with purpose. Because honoring your family, doctor, should never require abandoning your future.
Thank you, Professor. Many young people fear disappointing their families. How can they build the courage to make independent decisions?
Thank you, Doctor. So a young person builds the courage to make independent decisions by first understanding that disappointment is not disrespect. You can love your family deeply and still choose a path they don't fully understand. You can honor them without copying them. You can respect them without surrendering your identity. Courage begins with truth. The truth that your life is your responsibility. The truth that your future is your assignment. The truth that your purpose will not wait for universal approval. Young people must also realize that parents fear what they cannot see. When you choose a path they don't recognize, they panic, not because they doubt you, but because they don't know how to protect you on that road. So, understanding this softens the fear of disappointing them. You are not fighting your family, you are navigating their love. So, courage grows when you communicate not with emotion, not with defensiveness, with calm clarity. That is what I am choosing. This is why it matters. This is how I will stay responsible. When you speak like that, you shift the conversation from fear to understanding. And courage becomes stronger when you accept this truth. Your family's expectations are not your destiny. Your calling is not a group project. Your life is not a community vote. You are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to dream boldly. You are allowed to build a life that reflects your identity, not your upbringing, Doctor. The courage to make independent decisions does not come from rebellion. It comes from alignment. Alignment with who you are. Alignment with who you are becoming. Alignment with the future you are called to build. And now, here is the heart of the message, Doctor. You don't disappoint your family by choosing your path. You disappoint your potential by abandoning it. So, walk with respect, walk with clarity, walk with courage. Your family may not understand today, but they will celebrate tomorrow when they see the strength of the person you chose to become.
Thank you, Professor. Let's take a break and listen to our gospel song, I Bow Before the One Who Sees Me.
Bow before the one who sees me. You saw me in the shadows when I thought I walked alone. You heard the prayers I whispered in a language only pain could know. You gathered every broken piece, you held the tears I tried to hide, and in the kindness of your presence, my weary soul in my shame. the storms behind my smile. You saw the weight I carried, even when I said I was fine. But you didn't turn in judgment, you didn't walk away from me. You stepped into my hidden places and set my captive heart free. I bow before the one who sees me, who knows my heart and calls my name. I bow before the God who heals me, whose mercy meets me in my shame. You have never looked away, you have never left my side. I bow before the one who sees me, my refuge and my God. You see the truth behind my silence, you see the wounds behind my praise, you see the child within the warrior, you see the faith behind the haze, and still you choose to love me, still you choose to stay. I bow in holy wonder at the grace you give away. I bow before the one who sees me, who knows my heart and calls my name. I bow before the God who heals me, whose mercy meets me in my shame. You have never looked away, you have never left my side. I bow before the one who sees me, my refuge and my God. Higuka pambi kulongi bonayo. I bow before the one who sees me.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. Some young people feel trapped in family cycles of poverty, conflict, or expectation. How can they break free?
Thank you, Doctor. So a young person breaks free from the moment they realize their future is not inherited, it is created. See? You can come from poverty and still build abundance. You can come from conflict and still build peace. You can come from pressure and still build identity. Your origin is a reference point, not a life sentence. So, breaking free begins with awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. So when a young person recognizes the cycle, the financial habits, the emotional patterns, the expectations that suffocate, they take the first step towards rewriting their story. Then comes the courage to choose differently, not loudly, not rebelliously, quietly, Doctor, consistently, Doctor, choosing discipline where there was chaos, choosing saving where there was survival spending, choosing healing where there was silence, choosing boundaries where there was guilty, choosing purpose where there was pressure. So a young person breaks cycles by becoming the first in the family to pause, reflect, and redirect. The first to say, this ends with me. The first to build slowly instead of reacting quickly. The first to plan instead of panic. The first to dream with structure, not with just emotions. And here's the deeper truth, doctor. Breaking a cycle is lonely at first, but liberating in the end. You will be misunderstood before you are celebrated. You will be questioned before you are respected. You will be doubted before you are believed. But every cycle breaker walks that path. And every cycle breaker changes the generation behind. Young people must also understand that breaking free does not mean abandoning their family. It means rising high enough to lift them. It means building stability so the next generation doesn't inherit the same storms. It means becoming the turning point, the one who transforms the family story from survival to progress. And the most powerful truth of all, doctor, is you are not trapped. You are transitioning. You are not repeating the past. You are rewriting it. So every cycle ends when one brave young person decides to become the exception. And that exception becomes the new standard for everyone who comes after.
Thank you, Professor. President, how can young people rebuild confidence after being criticized or discouraged by family members?
Thank you, Doctor. So a young person rebuilds confidence by first understanding that family criticism is often a reflection of fear, not failure. So fear of the unknown, that's fear of instability, fear of watching you take a path they don't know how to guide you through. When you realize the criticism is about their fear, not your ability, the wound begins to close. So confidence also returns when a young person reconnects with their own voice. Not the voice of comparison, not the voice of pressure, not the voice of expectation, their own voice. The one that remembers their strengths, their progress, their resilience. Sometimes you rebuild confidence by reminding yourself who you were before someone else's words shook you. And healing happens when you surround yourself with people who see you clearly. Friends who affirm you, mentors or mentors who guide you, spaces where you don't have to defend your dreams. So confidence grows in environments where you are understood, not judged. So it means the environment is very important. A young person must also learn the art of emotional filtering. Not every comment deserves to enter your spirit. Not every opinion deserves to shape your identity. You can hear your family without absorbing everything they say. You can respect them without internalizing their doubts. And here is the truth that frees young people. You do not need your family's approval to grow. You need your own belief to begin. I'll give you an example. When I wanted to get into politics, everyone was asking me, No one has never done that in your family. It can't happen. But I had the confidence in myself that I can do this. I have helped other people do it. And boom, I was there. So confidence is rebuilt through small wins, through showing up again, through trying again, through proving to yourself, quietly, consistently, and that you are capable. You can do it. Your heart needs to tell you yourself that you can do it. Every small victory becomes a brick in the foundation of your self-belief. And with the time, something powerful happens now. The same family that doubted you begins to respect you. Not because you argued, not because you fought, but because you stayed true to your path and let your results speak. That is how confidence, doctor, returns. Not in one moment, but in many small, courageous moments where you choose your voice over their doubt.
Wow, this is amazing. Let's take a commercial break and stay tuned.
This way, sir. The psychologist is concluding a session.
This is the place.
Welcome. I'm the psychologist leading therapy and behavioral assessments here. I graduated from Springfield Research University. I never imagined I would be helping people understand their emotions, heal their minds, and rebuild their lives, but SRU gave me the science, the empathy, and the strength.
You help people make peace with themselves. Springfield only taught you the theories. You turned them into transformation.
Thank you, Dr. G. That means everything.
Become the next psychologist. Study BA Psychology at Springfield Research University.
Springfield Research University. The globe is here. Where are you?
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. President, what advice would you give to a young person who feels suffocated by family obligations?
Thank you, doctor. So when a young person feels suffocated, the first thing they must understand is this: obligation without oxygen becomes oppression. Obligation without oxygen becomes oppression. You cannot carry your family if you cannot breathe. You cannot build a future if you are constantly putting out fires you did not start. You cannot rise if every step forward is pulled backwards by guilt. The way out begins with reclaiming space, emotional space, mental space, time space. Not by running away, not by cutting people off, but by giving yourself permission to exist outside of everyone's expectations. You are allowed to have a life. You are allowed to have dreams. You are allowed to have boundaries. So a young person must also learn to speak their truth gently and firmly, not with anger, not with rebellion, but with calm clarity. I am trying. I am caring a lot. I need room to stabilize myself so I can support everyone better. Families may resist at first, but they eventually respect consistency. And here is the deeper truth, doctor. You are not responsible for fixing every crisis in the family. When you know that, you have peace. Hmm? you see, like in my family, they think every problem must be solved by me. You're laughing. You look at it and say, but I'm not the only child, isn't it? But everyone thinks that you can see. Everyone thinks, oh, every problem must be solved by me. The other time I was asking for the rent Mutero for everyone. I must even pay Mutero for my younger brother for one, but they're adults. Because what do they know? Every problem must be fixed by me. So I am saying here, you are not responsible for fixing every crisis in the family. You must fix problems, crises. Junior must fix crisis. You are responsible for building a life strong enough to lift the family in the long run. So suffocation ends when a young person stops carrying everything alone. Don't. When they stop absorbing every demand. Although I eventually do it, then Gogo says, thank you. But I would have shown them. Is it sometimes you need to openly clarify, you see? Then you can then do it. But at least we have taught them. So, suffocating ends when they stop believing that love means self-sacrifice. Love is not slavery, doctor. Love is not depletion. Love is not losing yourself to keep others comfortable. A young person must surround themselves with voices that remind them of who they are, not who they are expected to be. People who see their potential, not just their usefulness. You see? People who speak life into them, not pressure. And the truth is this: you honor your family by becoming strong, not by becoming broken. You honor them by rising, not by collapsing. You honor them by building a future that can sustain everyone, including yourself. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to rest, doctor. You are allowed to choose yourself without abandoning your family. That is not disrespect. That is survival. That is wisdom. That is adulthood.
Thank you, Professor. Finally, President, what is your message to every young person trying to survive family pressure, cultural expectations, and the weight of responsibility?
Thank you, doctor. So, to every young person trying to survive the weight of it all, you are not weak for feeling tired. You are not ungrateful for feeling overwhelmed. You are not disrespectful for wanting a life that reflects your own identity. You are human, and being human comes with limits, dreams, fears, and fire. Family pressure does not mean you must lose yourself. Culture does not mean you must shrink your identity. Responsibility does not mean you must carry the world alone. You are allowed to choose your future. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to grow beyond the boundaries of your brain. You are allowed to rise without apologizing for your wins. And hear this clearly. You are not the family's last hope. You are the family's new beginning. You are not here to repeat the past. You are here to rewrite it. You are not here to inherit the same struggles. You are here to break the cycle. Walk with respect, yes. Walk with love, always. But walk with courage, because your life is not a community project. Your purpose is not a group assignment. Your destiny is not a family vote. You can honor your family without abandoning your future. You can carry your culture without carrying every expectation. You can support your home without sacrificing your soul. And when the pressure feels unbearable, remember this truth. You are stronger than the weight of your shoulders. You are bigger than the fears around you. You are destined for more than survival. You are destined for becoming. Keep going, keep rising, keep choosing yourself with dignity and choosing your future with courage. Your story is not ending under pressure. It is beginning under fire. Thank you, Doctor, for having me.
Thank you, President, for restoring balance between respect and self-preservation. Your insights remind us that family and culture should guide our future, not suffocate it. To our audience, if you're ready to honor your family while protecting your future, Springfield Research University invites you to join a community where identity and responsibility are taught with wisdom. Visit www.springfieldresearchuniversity.net to begin. This brings us to the end of tonight's edition of Springfield Career Insights. May you navigate family expectations with strength and clarity. I am Clarence, your host. Good night.
Multilingual tapestry, Genjabulo, Sihlomeli impilo leinhle, lena. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, tikiti lethu Tanza lungakiwa. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, sonke siyavumelana, ngemjululo muhle sonke similela. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, tikiti lethu Tanza lungakiwa. Hey hey hey, siyakhuphuka, sonke siyavumelana, ngemjululo muhle sonke similela.